How to stop living paycheck to paycheck. I came across a video by Stephan today talking about how 1 in every 3 Americans making $100,000 per year or more are living paycheck to paycheck, and it absolutely blew my mind. I later found out that nearly 70% of Americans have less than $1,000 in their savings account and would have to resort to going into credit card debt to pay for any kind of minor inconvenience, such as an auto repair bill or a health emergency. Which really got me to thinking what the take-home pay would be for somebody who made $100,000. Just to keep the numbers simple, we'll say that they're paying about 30% in taxes, which would leave them with about $70,000 per year. $70,000 per year is a little bit over $5,800 per month take home. And I really had to kind of paint the picture as to what these people are spending all of this money on. Because let's be real, you could get a lot of pretty cool stuff with $5,800. Just for fun, I'm going to show you some of the pictures of things that you could buy with this amount of money every single month. You could buy this $6,600 square foot home in Michigan. You could buy this 3,100 square foot home in El Dorado Hills, California. You could buy this beautiful home in Albuquerque, New Mexico. You could buy 3 of these 2004 Lamborghini Gallardos. We all know or have met somebody that's in this income bracket. You may already be there yourself, but at least for me, I don't know anybody that's driving a Lamborghini Huracan living in a 6,000 square foot home in California in this income bracket. By researching on debt.com that over 70% of Americans do not have a long-term financial budget. Debt.com also suggests that the average American household has $137,000 in debt. That's between credit cards, student loans, home loans, and auto loans. Just when it occurred to me that people making 6 figures are not making too little, it's just the fact that they have no idea how much money they're spending on a month-to-month basis. It became even more clear whenever a recent study of 100 individuals making $100,000 or more per year were asked why they live paycheck to paycheck and why they have less than $1,000 in their savings account. The ones that were falling in this category said that living expenses were too high and pay was too low. Which I do agree that living expenses have came up and the wages have stayed relatively the same. However, if the recent studies of the percentages with people that have less than $1,000 in savings and people that do not keep track of their spending, I'm thinking that it's more of a keeping track of your money problem than it is a living expense problem. Some of you may be saying and thinking that money isn't everything, and I completely agree with you. I feel like life is more about being with your family and loving your children and having a great time and just enjoying yourself. But the thing is all of that stuff costs money. You know, the last time I checked, you had to pay for your rent, your electricity, any kind of bills that come up, your groceries, and as far as I'm concerned, having more money makes that stuff a lot easier than having less money. Think about having a sick family member or maybe a family member that's in need. Having money is going to make that easier. You know, I've had some very, very difficult times in my life, you know, now being one of them, where having 10 times as much money would literally solve every single problem that I have. Today we're going to make up a character that's in a special situation, and I'm going to be going over a method that I learned from many of the very financially successful individuals on the internet. And I just want to let you know, these methods I didn't come up with on my own. I learned them from people that are successful and that have done this, and also show others how to do it as well. So stay tuned and we'll get into the story. Like I said just a moment ago, I'm going to be using a character that I had made up for this story and just kind of give you an example of how somebody being in this type of situation could use this method and it could really change their life around. And just so you guys know, this isn't, I'm not saying that this is like the best method in the world, but the thing is if you know, say it's me or you or whoever, is not doing anything to change their financial situation, this will literally make you go a 180 and put you in a way better place 5 years from now than if you decided that you just weren't going to do anything. So just bear with me. I'm going to make this story for you guys, and yeah, stay tuned. So our character in the story, her name's going to be Sam. She's 27 years old. She works very hard as a single mother to raise her son. She currently lives with her parents temporarily to get her finances straight, which is a very smart move. She just got through a bankruptcy and she has no debt, just to keep the story simple. I'm going to go through 5 easy steps that she took to get her financial life on the right track. I'm not saying this is the #1 method, like I said, but if she went from absolutely doing nothing to doing these simple steps, it would completely turn her life around. Sam will be adding her entire expenses down to the penny. This does not include any entertainment or fun money. This is just her fixed costs. She came up with a total of $1,500 per month. This is going to include expenses like groceries, gas, as well as a portion of the monthly utilities that she pays for at her parents' house. The second step is she's going to be calculating what her exact take-home pay is, which happens to be $1,000 per week, including all of her overtime. She works, let's just say she works as a security officer. She's then going to analyze the difference between what she's taking home and what she has to spend each and every month. Her first goal will be to get her expenses down to where they're only 40% of her take-home income. She will eventually try to get this percentage lower and lower by cutting down her bills and increasing her income, but her initial goal will be to get it down to 40%. This is where a lot of people are going to say to start paying off your debt, which is a smart thing to do, but if you listen to Dave Ramsey and others, they say that the best step after this would be to build a small emergency fund. For Sam, she's going to be building a 90-day emergency fund. This will be step 1 times 3. So she's going to take her monthly expenses and multiply that times 3, which would be $4,500. The reason for this is now that she actually has a savings, she can basically use this as any kind of emergency fund. So for example, if a big car maintenance comes up, she can use this. If she has a health emergency, she can use that if she needs to go towards her insurance deductible, versus having to use a credit card to get into debt. So that's what she's going to be doing in this example. She can stay above water for 90 days without having to get into any kind of debt. If this does happen and she needs to spend her emergency fund, she's going to repeat this entire process until her emergency fund is rebuilt and she has that $4,500 saved before she starts moving down this 5-step system. Once she's done all of these steps and has her 90-day emergency fund, she'll break her entire take-home pay into percentages. Earlier I mentioned that Sam wants her monthly bills to be no more than 40% of her take-home pay. Once she reaches this goal, she's going to shoot for lower and lower, and right now her take-home pay is $4,000 per month and her bills are $1,500. This equates to a little bit under 40%. She's actually at 37.5, which is going to be under her goal. She then wants to have 10% for spending money. So she wants to be able to have money to go out and do stuff on the weekends. She doesn't want to be so financially frugal that she can't have any fun. So she's going to put 10% towards having fun. So that way she can have a gym membership where she has a daycare. She can go and go work out and drop the baby off at the daycare. She can hang out for an hour and still live her life and not have to just completely sacrifice everything. She then wants to put 20% or $800 towards investing. The other 20% she wants to put towards savings, which is also $800. So what she can do in this example is she can put that money away and say she wants to move out of her parents' house in about 2 years or so. So now I'm just going to pretend like our character lives in Indiana, Northwest Indiana, which is the area that I'm from. So in our area, you can get a trailer home on a lot, a decent one, for under $30,000. So we're just going to pretend that her savings and her investing, after her emergency fund, of course, is going to go to buying one of those properties with cash. So I'm going to show you right here. As you can see, there's plenty of properties that are in that price range in this area. This isn't going to work for every area, but a lot of places around the US you can find properties like this for sale in this price range. You know, and there are so many different directions that our character can go. I mean, even if she wanted to get a double wide trailer home. Say she wanted to get a double wide trailer home. She could have extra rooms that she could rent to family members, very close friends, you know, somebody who just needs, you know, an affordable place to live, somebody that she knows personally, and she can help them out. And she's collecting that rent money, so that's able to offset some of the costs on her other stuff. That can pay for, you know, any kind of maintenance on the property that comes up, you know, utility bills, and now her bills are very, very low, and she has her own house. She owns her own piece of real estate, so just an idea.